Hey guys, and welcome back to another Conan Exiles video. Today we are back in the Exiled Lands, east of the unnamed city, building a Nemedian Stronghold. This build is completely mod free, so without further ado, let's get started. Firstly, we'll start off with, of course, the baseplate. The blueprint for this build is on screen now, and it's quite a simple one. I decided to use only squares and rectangles for this design, as I really wanted to use those new vaulted ceilings heavily later on in the build. I built the base plate using Nemedian fence foundations and covered the fences with Nemedian ceilings, supported underneath by pillars. Next, for the walls. Using the brand new Nemedian stone walls, I built the ground floor of the stronghold 2 tiles high. These new walls are pretty nice. They've got a nice rustic touch with the asymmetrical brick designs, but they're not too rough to use for something fancy like a castle in the future. Honestly, I'm really impressed with this building set. If I downloaded this building set in a mod, for example, then I would definitely be recommending this mod to all of you, and so far, I would definitely recommend the People of the Dragon DLC. Once I built the first tile of the walls, I then finished off the ceilings on the ground floor within the build, and then built the walls up to that 2 tile height I mentioned earlier. Next, I started on the first floor. I built stairs up on the side wall of the main hall and used regular and vaulted ceilings to create a small balcony above the main hall that will lead to the other rooms on the first floor. I also raised the height of the hall by 1 tile high to make it 3 tiles in total. I then continued to use the vaulted and regular ceiling pieces to cap off the main hall in preparation for the roof later on, and then to extend the first floor across the majority of the build. Now, during this time I made some slight readjustments to door frames, and I also raised the walls of one of the back workshops 1 tile high, again to make it 3 tiles high, to facilitate a taller roof later on. Once I'd finished the ceilings, I then moved on to the walls. I included a balcony on the back right of the build above the metal workshop and built some small rooms. I then prepared the front roof gable to then start on the roof. Now for the roof itself. I used the Nemedian roof pieces, including the new sloped roof windows, to construct the roofing for the stronghold. I gave each individual section on the first floor its own roof, and then I tried to connect them together at different joints to keep the roof flowing, whilst also creating some good definition between each individual roof structure. During the roof building process, I did decide to make a change. In the back right corner above the workshop, I decided to build a tower that will sit a couple of tiles above the rest of the roof. Including this tower really helps to break up the monotony of the roof structures, and it just feels right for this stronghold to have a tower. These new roof pieces are pretty nice. They definitely look a bit darker than they appeared in the dev stream preview, at least on my end, but they're still really nice. Honestly, I would, so far, struggle to find a fault with this DLC. I'm not a huge fan of the fences, at least for the interior, but flotsam fences work perfectly for this style on the interior. Aside from that very minor complaint and the slight annoyance that rooftop pieces don't run flush into the new roof windows, this is a really well made DLC. The dev team have knocked the ball out of the proverbial park with this one, in my opinion. Finally, when the shell of the build was done, it was then time to of course furnish. Approaching the build, I've lit the stronghold with hanging braziers, and I've used the new placeables with the Nemedian set quite liberally. I did find one thing slightly disappointing, and that is that there are no new lighting options with the People of the Dragon DLC. The braziers work well enough, it just would have been nice to have a new hanging lamp or something. Entering the build, we are in the entrance hall, which leads to all of the parts of the stronghold. I've gone for a fairly comfortable design, aided by the new wall decorations, the fairly warm inherent tones of the stone, and of course the abundance of wood. The placeables in this pack are really nice, and the fact that the Watchers pieces, and also even some of the base game pieces work nicely with this theme too, are great. Definitely makes it feel like a very versatile style. On the left side is the dining hall, where the Nemedian chief sits above the other diners in the room, watching over them. Straight ahead from the front door is a workshop where hides and metals can be used to craft armours, weapons and saddles for the Nemedian soldiers. At the back of the hall is a small corridor with some chairs, and some storage in the small alcoves. Next to this area is another workshop focusing on dyes and casting. The new Nemedian armours I've found take dyes really well, aside from the heavy chestplate because you can't dye the chainmail on it. I definitely recommend that if you have this DLC, hop into single player and play around with dyeing these new armour pieces. You'd be surprised at how different and honestly really nice you can make them look. Heading onto the first floor, the back left is a small bedroom where I've used the new Nemedian beds. Now, I didn't actually like this bed design at first when they showed it in the dev stream, but it's definitely grown on me. They're nice and unique without being too out of place stylistically. Next door to the bedroom is the tower room, which also leads to a corner balcony that wraps around the back right side of the build. Back inside the tower room is a staircase that leads up to the Watchtower. Sitting just above the build, this tower provides ample scouting opportunities. And there we have it, a Nemedian Stronghold in the Exiled Lands, just east of the unnamed city. Thanks for watching. I'm honestly really impressed with this DLC so far. There are a couple of nitpicks I could make, but if I'm being honest, it's a very versatile set that plays really nicely with a lot of different themes and purposes. I'll definitely be using it quite a bit in the future, and you guys can expect a full DLC review coming pretty soon. If you like the channel and would like to see more content in the future, there are links in the description to my Twitter, Twitch, Discord, NordVPN discount, Host Havoc affiliate link, and my Patreon. Or, of course, you can simply just leave a like and subscribe. Any of those are greatly appreciated. If you do choose to become a patron, you'll get sneak peeks of future videos, special roles in the Coffee Cult Discord, full-size blueprint downloads, your name at the end of every video, and finally, a brand new edition for the $5 and above tiers, custom-made Conan Exiles wallpapers in both 1080p and 4K resolutions, with patrons at the $20 tier being able to request custom designs. On that note, a thanks to our current patrons Sadialot, Randar, Connor, Blue Ivy, Velma, Torn, Maril224, and Eagle Rose. If you're new here, I upload every Wednesday and Sunday, so I hope to see you then. As always, take care, and I'll see you soon.